Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Guys, once again, buckle in because we've got a ton of stuff to talk about today. There is so much going on, starting off with our massive and extremely rare snowstorm in very southern parts of Texas. It's overperforming for a lot of areas in Texas and it's continuing to move east. And then on top of that, our long-range forecast models are really showing some interesting stuff as we go on into next week and the week after that. The weather pattern is really firing up, guys, and you're going to want to be subscribed to this channel as we go forward. So make sure you do that now. And as soon as you're done with that, let's take a look at our monster storm in Texas on the radar. All right, here we are. Look at this thing, guys. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Widespread heavy snow bands in southeastern Texas as far south as San Antonio? What is going on? This thing went way further south than the models, than myself, or any meteorologist out there thought that it would go. Look at this. Rain snow lines far south as Gonzales, Texas. It's south of Interstate 10. It looks to me like there will be a switchover from rain to at least a wintry mix in Houston for a brief period. This doesn't happen, guys. This is going to be a very memorable snowstorm for the people of Texas and for everybody who loves to, watch winter storms and stuff. This is going to be one for the books. Unfortunately, I do believe this storm underperformed a little bit for Dallas. A lot of people were expecting that actually, but they weren't thinking it was because the whole storm was going to shift so far south. Some places just to the south of Dallas got about an inch of snow, and it looks like most of the precipitation is moving out now. But look here, Abilene, Texas got 7 inches of snow. Just south of Snyder, Texas got 6 inches of snow. San Angelo, Texas got 4 inches of snow. And even Lubbock, Texas ended up with about 6 inches of snow. But look at these reports from San Antonio, guys. San Antonio, Texas, 0.3 inches of snow on the ground, and it is continuing to come down for a lot of people. And this is just going to drop some crazy amounts for people in southeastern Texas that nobody could have seen this coming. Let's take a look at some reports actually on the ground there in Texas. This is Abilene, Texas, where some people got at least 7 inches of snow. And watch this. This is a video from somebody in Austin, Texas. You hear that? That's right. Thunder snow. Those thunderstorms that we were talking about yesterday remained thunderstorms even after the snow started falling. Check it out. Insane. Here's somebody's dog playing in snow. Probably the first time that dog has ever seen snow. I believe this is around Austin, Texas.
She's off to the races.
And obviously the roads are in really bad condition on a lot of the interstates in Texas, especially on some of the back roads and stuff. And it doesn't snow very often down there, so people are freaking out on the roads. So yeah, there's our awesome storm in Texas. I want to remind you guys one more time, if you have any footage or videos or pictures or anything from what's going on, make sure you send it to me on Twitter. All my links are in the description. All right, let's get back into forecast mode here and take a look at the weather model. This is the NAM. This is showing about what's going to be happening around 7 o'clock tonight. And when we put it into motion, you can see it moves out of Texas by 5 or 6 a.m. tomorrow. And we've got heavy snow in Louisiana, some heavy snow in Mississippi for a brief period, and then it disappears. I feel incredibly sorry for the meteorologist in Mississippi because that's another one of those areas where people get really excited about snow because it doesn't happen all the time. And here we are with this incredible opportunity for some snow to happen. We know that the storm has been overperforming in southern areas, but all of the models are just very iffy about whether or not all that moisture is going to make it into central parts of Mississippi. So a lot of forecasters out there are probably going to make a lot of people mad. In my opinion, I do believe there will be snow in central Mississippi. And based on everything we've seen so far, I think the southern side has the best shot. All right, so our crazy storm is completely out of the picture by 1 a.m. January 12th. And then the rest of the NAM is pretty quiet in this area. All right, let's go back out to the nationwide view now. This is the Euro model. And now we're going to start talking about those future chances of snow for people in the Great Lakes region, Ohio Valley, Southeast, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic. There's a little bit of something for everybody as we go forward. And buddy, is it exciting. Let's start off the 12Z Euro. There goes our southern storm. Euro shows a pretty good hit for central Mississippi, but it does go away very quickly. And then that gets completely out of here by 10 p.m. January 12th. That storm is no longer on anybody in America's mind. And then as I play this forward, watch this area. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on over there, a lot of thermal packing on the mountains, a lot of precipitation and moisture coming in off the Pacific. Keep watching those waves and watch what happens with one of them. All right, let's put it into motion. Here we go. Ooh, something got loose there, and we have a major winter storm in a part of the United States that hasn't seen much snow this year. We're talking Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Michigan. This could potentially be a pretty major storm for you guys. And this is a 990 millibar low pressure system. So this is one of those things where you're going to have some crazy winds. And then we've got very heavy snow bands on the northwest side side near Chicago, all the way up to Milwaukee and Green Bay, even St. Louis getting in on some snow action here. And then as we put that further into motion, watch what happens here. Giant area of cold air comes down into the United States. This is what I've been talking about for so long, guys. I know you want me to I know you want me to shut up about this daggone cold air, but I'm telling you guys it's coming. And according to the Euro model, it's this low pressure system that's really going to allow it to come down. We've got the 540 thickness line all the way down south of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that's just going to cause intense cold for this area of the United States. And then as you can see, this storm starts to affect areas in the Northeast, and it really turns on those lake effect machines. So if you live on the lakes and whenever we get those northwest winds, you get buried in snow, get ready for that again. And it kind of takes that storm up into Nova Scotia and Canada. And yeah, that's what the Euro is showing right now. And then on the last couple frames, you can see we've got another little system diving in right here. There are so many big storms in the Pacific that are just slamming up against Washington and Oregon in the United States. And whenever a little bit of that energy breaks free and comes down, especially when we've got cold air locked in place, you know, I've got to say it. We're in Snowtown, baby. All right, you know, we got to look at the snowfall totals for that one right there. Let's keep it going. Let's go all the way to the end. There's our big snowstorm. These are the winners on the Euro. Like I said, just north of Chicago, near Milwaukee, a lot of southern Wisconsin. You can see those lake effect areas really good here and here and here. So the Euro, just over the next 10 days, shows a pretty good shot for anybody in this area of the country to get some snow. But that's not all we got for you. You know there's more. Let's take a look at the Canadian and let's put it into motion. Here we go. Here's that piece of energy that comes off of the Pacific Ocean coming across right now. The Canadian handles it a little bit differently, but it is still there. It's not as strong. It doesn't cause the same widespread snow event in this area, but it is there. And this has been very consistent on the Canadian for a while now. And as I put this into motion, watch all this energy right here. You see, we got this big area of low pressure up here, and we do have this cold air coming down. And like I said, if we can just get some moisture from the Gulf or something to interact with the cold air, something's going to happen. And the Canadian sees that. Watch. Here we go. Let's put it into motion. Low pressure system forms off the coast of North Carolina. What's going to happen with it? And boom. Once again, the Canadian shows a crazy nor'easter forming off of that cold trough that comes down from that first low pressure system because there was something in the Gulf there to interact with it. Now, once again, even if this doesn't happen exactly this way, there is a very good chance that there will be something in the Gulf of Mexico, maybe some sort of closed low, maybe just some sort of disturbance that will interact with that cold deepening that goes down in the United States. Is this going to happen? We don't know yet, but this has been popping up on the Canadian, on the GFS, and on the Euro for a little while now. It's been different each time, but I think as we get into tomorrow and the next day, we're really going to get some answers to the questions we're having about what's going to happen with this storm. And then as we play that on out, look at that. It just curves backwards. It's a 976 millibar low pressure system. That's going to be blizzard conditions in those areas. And then this is going to spin down some more cold air just waiting to get played with. And let's see if it happens. Look here. A second storm forms on the 18th of January, and it looks like it tries to be a southern slider, and it has the markings of something that could potentially become a nor'easter as we go into the future. A lot of times when you look at models this far out, nor'easters, they usually show up as something like a low pressure system in the Gulf or something that just pops up here in the south central United States and then goes out to sea. But a lot of times what you'll see is that it will slowly correct and either bring it up this way or take it around this way or something like that. I don't know if for sure that's what we're looking at, but this, we got to keep our eye on this right here. That might be the big one, bulls. And that's as far as the Canadian goes out. Let's look at that snow map. We look at these long range forecast snow maps just to see what the pattern looks like. It's not, you know, this is not a forecast. This is not actually what's going to happen. But here's that big blizzard that comes through. 2 feet of snow showing up for people in Vermont and New Hampshire. And a pretty widespread 3 to 6 inch amount all the way down into parts of New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut. And then we have that second storm down here that could possibly drop a little bit of snow in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, parts of Georgia. So like I said, guys, things are getting exciting. The pattern is lighting up. Last but not least, let's take a look at the GFS. Watch this up here. There's so much stuff that tries to escape, and that when that one does, it's like, oh, here I go. And then that right there is what's going to bring our cold air down. Now, once again, the GFS doesn't show a big storm with this. The good thing is it's still showing the downward motion of cold air. We're going to get our piece of the pie, our piece of the polar vortex at some point in January. And this little boy right here, he's trying his best to give it to us. In all the models, they all agree on this. So let's put that further into motion here. And here's our first big storm that the GFS shows. This is the 18th of January. There's a lot of signals out there, a lot of data suggesting that around the 17th, 18th of January, something is going to happen with that cold air. This is a good sign if you want snow. And let's put that into motion, and that that turns into a pretty good nor'easter right there for a lot of places in the Northeast, especially Massachusetts and Connecticut, New Hampshire and Maine. Wow, really intense low pressure system right there that could cause, if that was to come to fruition, that would cause some major problems with wind and stuff like that. But that's a classic nor'easter for you. Unfortunately, this run does lock out New Jersey and Maryland, like a lot of times, that happens. But it has time to change, and it'll probably change a lot before we get there. All right, just for fun, let's go out even further. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look familiar? Look at this. Ooh, what was that? Oddly similar to our storm we just saw, except it looks a little bit more intense in the Colorado and Kansas region. That goes down into Texas, and yeah, it becomes kind of like a southern slider snowstorm right there. On the 22nd of January, we have a pretty big snowstorm in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then that moves into Tennessee, very northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. And then that becomes a pretty bad ice storm in South Carolina. North Carolina gets some more snow, and then it is out to sea. And then the GFS shows another big storm on Tuesday, January 26th. Guys, this is 16 days away, but these 3 dates have been consistent in the past few model runs. The 17th and the 18th, the 21st and the 22nd, and the 24th and the 25th. All the models, all the long range stuff that we can look at have seen something happening on these dates for a while now. And if this is still showing up tomorrow and the next day, we're locking in, son. We're going code red, blizzard alert. We're buying all the milk and bread, and we're getting buried in snow, boys. All right, so that's the GFS. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the snowfall map. Why not? All right, GFS, big, colorful, pretty map. Here's our first storm, the one that turns into the big nor'easter in Maine there. A lot of places 12 to 16 inches, it looks like. And then our second storm really drops a hefty amount once again in Texas. What if Texas is the winner of winter 2020-2021? Wouldn't that just make so much sense? Another big storm for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and all these southeastern states here. And then right at the very end there, you can see the beginning phase of that third storm, that third big storm that the GFS is starting to show. So once again, this is a very exciting map to look at, and there is so much opportunity here. I can bet your subscription that sometime in late January, we are going to have a major winter storm on our hands for somebody in the north, northeast, mid-Atlantic, or southeast. And I'm not talking about one of these puny ones like we just saw in North Carolina. And it's gonna be fun to watch too. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for you today. If you did enjoy this video, I would, like to ask if if you want, you can like the video if you want. You don't have to, but if you want. The weather pattern's going crazy right now. I hope you stay tuned. I hope you stay here with me and watch it all roll in. And hopefully you get a foot of snow in your backyard at some time this year. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna end it here, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.